All right, CNN dropped new polling numbers after the Epstein email release yesterday, and you can tell it struck a nerve. Everyone had something to say about it. Let's get into it. Now, I usually love the CNN data guy. He's one of the few who actually calls things straight, but this one stung a little. Take a look.
The American public think about how Donald Trump has been handling the Epstein files compared to all the other issues that he brought up during the campaign?
Yeah, you know, Donald Trump is underwater on basically every single issue he ran on in 2024. But the Epstein files, the Epstein case, are especially dreadful for him. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at Trump's net approval rating on the issue. Look, they're all in red. They're all in the negative territory. But on immigration, you know, he's 5 points underwater. Foreign policy, 8 points. Trade and tariffs, he's 17 points. The economy, 18 points. But look at the Epstein case. He is 39 points below water on the Epstein case. His net approval is 39 points in the negative. My goodness gracious. What Donald Trump has been selling on the Epstein files, the Epstein case, the American people, simply put, have not been buying at all.
So Trump took a hit on the Epstein issue, and that makes total sense. People are frustrated with how it's been handled, myself included. The delays, the redactions, and the complete lack of transparency that we were promised. I mean, during his campaign, Trump promised that the files would get released, and nothing happened when he got elected. Pam Bondi did that whole influencer event with those binders, and that was a total nothing burger. People were expecting answers, and that whole thing came off as a circus and pretty much damaged her reputation. We went from the files are coming to here's some binders to there's no list to calling the whole thing a Democratic hoax. And that kind of back and forth is exactly why people are irritated. And it's why the Democrats can spin this so easily.
All right, so is there any sign that things have gotten better since there have been some things that have been released?
Yeah, okay.
Although released by Democrats.
There have been some things that have been released. Donald Trump has been trying to make some sort of case saying that, you know, the folks don't necessarily care about it. But take a look here. Approve of the Trump admin on the Epstein case in early July, right when you had those DOJ droppings, right? It was 17%. Look at where we were by late September, the latest poll I could find it. 20%. You know, we often talk about Donald Trump having this floor, right, of at about 40%. On this particular issue, he is less than half the level of the supposed floor. There is just nobody in the electorate who is buying this. They do not like the way that the Trump administration has been handling this case one iota.
And while CNN is talking about the numbers, the House Democrats stalled the Republicans' effort yesterday to force an immediate vote on releasing the Epstein files. And we mentioned this yesterday, but I think it bears repeating again. Democrats want the pieces that make Trump look bad out in the open, but they don't want everything released yet. And that vote proves it. And why? Because letting this drag out keeps people stewing on it. It keeps the outrage high, and it leaves room for the maybe he was involved narrative to spread. And the full list of the names probably won't ever come out, but if they do, it's not going to be just one party that's in trouble. It'll scorch every corner of Washington, and that's probably another reason why they stalled the vote. So Trump had campaigned hard on transparency. We all remember this. It wasn't just the Epstein, it was the JFK, the MLK, all of it. And every time we were told the truth was coming out, it didn't. And I don't know what's holding all this back, especially the Epstein list. I don't know if he's protecting certain people, if his hands are tied, or if releasing everything would blow up half of Washington. Any of that's possible. But the promise was transparency. That was what he campaigned on, and that's what the people expected. So this polling isn't about Republicans switching sides. It's frustration that the truth is still not out. And the Democrats are now weaponizing that silence.
Republicans have generally said they like what Donald Trump is doing, generally speaking. How do they feel about the Epstein case?
Okay, so you see, approve of Trump on the Epstein case. This is overall, right? And you see 17%, you say 20%. That is way below the 40% floor that Donald Trump supposedly has. How does that possibly happen? It's because of Republicans. Because look at this number. Okay, Republicans who approve of Trump's job as president, 87%. That is basically in line with the long-term average, 85, 90, 95%. But look at the Trump admin's job on the Epstein case. Just 45% of Republicans, less than half of Republicans are even buying what the administration is telling. Look, we're not necessarily sure whether or not this case has moved the ball on Trump's overall approval rating yet, but I can tell you that the more that this case is in the news, the worse it is for Donald Trump, because simply put, it is his worst issue by far.
We could be seeing a vote on this next week. This case is not going away anytime soon.
It is not going away anytime soon, and that is bad news politically for Donald John Trump.
So if Trump wants to shut this down completely, there is only one move. It's to release everything. The names, logs, records, redactions, gone. All of it. Minus the victims' names. They need protection. But stop giving the left room to spin. Stop letting this get dragged into another election cycle. We got midterms coming up this next year. Stop letting the speculation grow. And if Trump's not involved, and I don't believe he is, I'll say it again what I said yesterday. If Democrats had anything real, they would have used it in the 2024 elections. Even the 2020 elections. They threw every arrow they had to stop him from getting reelected. And this never came up. So that tells me they got absolutely nothing. And that's really why I don't think he was involved. But the victims, they deserve the truth. The country deserves real answers. And anyone involved deserves consequences. No exceptions. So release the files. Those that have nothing to hide, hide nothing. That's it for today, folks. Like, subscribe, and share. It really does help the channel grow. And remember to stay strong. And as always, keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you next time.